Hello, everybody. I'm Cantonese Cat. Hey, everybody. It's been a long time since I've done a live stream. Have a little bit of time. Figure out just jump on here and see who else is still around. I don't even know what to really talk about here, so I'm gonna just start here with the old man Bitcoin. Looking at the Gann chart here. I have this Gann set at, let me see my setting here, 503.60. It's been working out pretty well for me. Really from the cycle bottom all the way out to the current price right here. You can see all these arc here meant something. It was resistance all the way all around, and whenever you end up breaking above and back testing it, it goes to the next level, right? What did we just do? We went above it and we back tested it. So what should it be doing? Probably going to the next level. What is the next level? Well, you got the horizontal Gann line here on 117, 118, somewhere around there. 118, 117,000, I should say. And then if you end up breaking above, maybe you can do a little bit of a broke back test, and the next level is probably going to be around, depending on where it hits, maybe anywhere from 150, 160-ish, 160K, somewhere around there. Hi, Jaden. Hi, Kawi. Yeah, welcome everybody. I probably completely butchered your name. I'm so sorry. Not really. I tried. No, I didn't really try. Hey, Kay, welcome. Just wanted to do a quick live stream here. Going to talk about a few things. So first of all, when you break above and back test, this is not anything bearish. If I just kind of zoom in here, you can see sort of the precision, in terms of the breakout and back test here. I've had this Gann chart here set probably for many, many months now. I've been following this really since, I want to say, like somewhere around here, maybe. And I was seeing how this was actually showing some really beautiful market symmetry. When it got up to here, everybody got euphoric because you're seeing six-figure Bitcoin. And then I was like, it's going to spend some time here, and nobody believed me. And next thing you know, it plummeted back down, and here we are. Broke through, back test. Looks like it's getting pretty ready to go. On top of that, I think it's also very important to note one thing here too, which is on last week we got a nice Dragonfly doji. And this FIP sequence over here is done from the cycle high over here to the cycle low. And it's been respecting these FIP levels here pretty well. You see how broke through back to 0.618, broke through back to 0.786, broke through previous all-time high, went to the next level. Where is it at? 1.272. We have a hard time breaking through it. Yes, we did. Broke through. What are we doing? Back testing an area here with a pretty decent, nice Dragonfly doji here last week. And so far this week has been doing absolutely nothing, which is fine. You also look at a daily here too. We also ended up having a little bit of a hammer bottom look here as well. And so far we have another hour and a half or so. Any chance to the technical analysis playlist to return? Oh man, okay. Ricky, I took it off because I wanted to revamp them. Some of the lessons has been about almost close to like a year old, and since then I've had some thoughts, but I'm just too darn lazy to do that. So I might put it up. Let me think about it. Okay, let me think about it. I would let me think about it. Anyway, so this whole thing right here is back testing the 1.272 after its breakout. It looks like we're holding the area here pretty well, even though a lot of people are probably really scared when it dipped down here. But I still think that overall the Bitcoin chart looks pretty good. I was following this daily Gann here for a while. Initially, I was like, man, it was just a beautiful market symmetry here. It broke my symmetry finally, and it decided to do its own thing, but it's okay. I've been following this since like December of 2024. How it's just basically been bouncing between the top and the bottom Gann arc over here, and as soon as it breaks this arc over here, decide to kind of ride up the 45-degree angle. And whenever it broke that 45-degree angle over here, and it just kept going up, I was like, eventually we're gonna have to back test a 45-degree angle here. I just don't see any way we can just keep going up without really back testing. It's not. It can. It's Bitcoin to do whatever it wants to do, but it just simply, not able to hold that area. Decide to come back down here to test the horizontal gain level over here. Broke back up above, thought that, hey, this is it. Nope, decided to do a little bit of a hangman here and go back down here. It kind of broke my 45-degree angle. Is in no mouse land right now. It's just kind of hanging up between the angle and the horizontal line over here. But if I take away the GAN, it actually looks pretty decent where we're at right now because it's a very beautiful hammer bottom. We got low liquidity weekend conditions going on right now with this daily candle. It's probably going to close in about hour and a half or so. So basically, what you're got going on here is some pretty decent wicks down here below, and you've got maybe end up with a little bit of a tweezer bottom kind of thing over here, which actually would bode well for Sunday. And we'll see. If I'm gonna have to choose between a low liquidity weekend, I'd rather they try to take out the liquidity down below on a Saturday, and on Sunday, I like to see them pump. But we'll see. I mean, so far it's just low liquidity crap price action here. It doesn't really mean anything to me. Woo! No ho hang. I'm out. I'm looking. Thank you everybody for coming on. Appreciate y'all. And yeah, Ricky, I'll think about it. Okay, I appreciate the tip. Um, I have done a tutorial to show you guys how to draw the GAN. And I'm, again, I'll think about putting up maybe for another week or two. Let me think about it. Okay. Weekly looks weird. Bunch of those thin candles with long wicks. Isn't it a good thing or a bad thing? Indecision, right? Do we have more wicks down below or more wicks up above? I think we have a little bit more wicks down here below, but so far this week it's just been crap. It's just been indecision. I like the fact that we're more wicks down below than we have more wicks up above. It sometimes just goes that way. I'm not that scared about Bitcoin though, because it really looks like it's getting ready to go up after its consolidation phase over here. We had the Ichimoku cloud here last time when we had the fusion of the red and blue line, which I call Katana. It just basically sets up a pretty impulsive price movement up, right? Backtest the cloud over here. Here, we didn't really backtest the cloud. Could it backtest it? Maybe, but I just don't think that's really like a necessary move right now. It's already got a katana. It looks like it wants to go up. The Tengen Kitchen, the blue and red line here is already, bullishly separated. And because the blue line is going up here, we're no longer really that overextended anymore. I feel like we have more room to go up, but this week over here, maybe just kind of waiting for the Tengen to kind of catch up over here so that we can go higher. So we're not totally overextended here. On the monthly, though, we're still a little bit overextended, but we're basically riding the Tengen on the way up. I still think that Bitcoin's bullish, by the way. If you want to learn how to draw a Gantt square, it's not that hard. You can, yeah, I mean, I can just show you, like, for example, I want to draw again on a daily. I'm going to use, actually, let me try one here and see whether or not I can see anything cool here. On the tab here where you see Fibonacci retracement, there's an option here called Gantt square. You just pick that and you pick a pivot. Usually I like to pick a pivot of like a really high or really low point. For Gantt square, you really want to try to draw it on like a growing asset. You don't want to draw it backwards. So for me, I like to pick a low pivot. So I end up picking a pivot over here. This is log scale, by the way. And in general, I like to pick a number that is reasonable to look at. So immediately, let me try like 180. You want to do multiples of 45. So let me try 180. And then on here, I'm just going to put a 100. That's too low. Let me put 500 here and see what kind of market symmetry I see. Not very beautiful. So you basically want to find one that gives you the most point touches. I think this one gives you pretty decent market symmetry here. You don't want to really use any random numbers. You want to use certain numbers here. But anyway, I'll see whether or not I can put a tutorial back up here maybe for a week or two to kind of show y'all. Welcome to everybody. Welcome, Jules. Thank you for coming. Ethereum has been doing Ethereum things. Ethereum has been the bane of our existence. I think the best way to kind of illustrate in terms of what's happening is to do a 2-week chart here. And you can see that, it's like you thought that it was just going to keep riding up the line up here, but no, it broke down underneath. Has it done that before? Yes, it has. It did during COVID, and also did during the end of 2016, where it just kind of broke below that line, grabbed some liquidity, and just shot up from here. I still see that we're kind of at a very, very similar juncture here. So this is still kind of what I'm standing by. I think it's getting ready to kind of break out here. The great Matsby has the scan here. I try to find the setting. He didn't tell me what the settings are. I just went and did it anyway. I found again, and then he was like, "Yep, that's what I use." So this is his GAN settings over here. And what you're really seeing is currently, I'm going to zoom in terms of what's happening here. We're trying to break out about this arc up here. I've been spending a few weeks. We've just not been able to do it. All these doji candles, indecision, absolutely ridiculous. What are we going to do about these kind of indecisiveness here? Well, let's take a look and see if there's any other things here that can tell us where things are going to go. I'm going to draw a fit level here, and we've just been hugging. We've just literally been hugging the 0.618 log fib here. Now, if I change this over to linear, if it changes over to linear, it broke above the 0.382, and it got rejected here at 0.5. And we're stuck in a range between these two fib levels. It got rejected out here at 0.786, came back down. Let me see whether or not it was touching some of the lower fib levels here. Yeah, it did down below that. But anyway, it's stuck in a range right now. And we'll see. I think that we're getting close to breaking above. I think that overall liquidity seems to be coming in. I think Ethereum actually looks pretty decent here. There's something called Ethereum dominance, and it's been a joke because there is no Ethereum dominance. Ethereum just been going down against the entire cryptocurrency market for about 2 years now. And we dipped down our way down to Ethereum being 7% of the entire cryptocurrency market cap here at the bottom. And next thing you know, we're indexed down to about 10% or so, and you're hitting some resistance here where there's some previous resistance and support zone over here. So yeah, Ethereum dominance is still trying to break out. I've been showing this thing over here. It's been going sideways here for many, 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 many days. It's just waiting to kind of break out to either one direction or the other direction. And the Bollinger Band here is squeezing. Last time Bollinger Band was squeezed over here, it ended up having a breakout to the upside. Here is a little bit indecisive. Initially, I thought there was going to be a little bit of expansion here. Nope, it decided to keep squeezing. It's just been doing absolutely nothing. So I wonder whether or not Ethereum dominance will play out. And if it does, I think Ethereum might be able to break out the range to the upside or to the downside if it decides to go down. We'll see. But overall, I think currently the liquidity conditions, everything else is pointing out probably going to the upside here. Am I still bullish on China and BABA? Yes, I am. I intend to talk about that. Before I do, I just want to talk about two other ones people are interested in. One is XRP. XRP, I have a GAN here. I have a monthly GAN. It's just been hugging this line up here. The entire time that it's going sideways, how many months is it going sideways? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months of nothing. The entire time when it's going sideways up here, just hugging this GAN line over here, I think the next level is going to end up breaking up to the GAN arc up above, which is probably going to be in around like $6 to $8. And I think it's probably going to get up there. If I put up the monthly Ichimoku, you can see that initially had a rejection of Ichimoku Cloud, and now we have a true breakout, right? This is the back test Ichimoku Cloud, not necessarily. It's holding the Tenkan and Kishin, the red and blue line over here perfectly fine. And this is basically a look of bullishness because you're basically breaking above a horizontal level here and back testing it. And so far, you're holding it pretty convincingly. So I think the next move is going to be up whenever it decides to get done with this shenanigans. It's probably going to go up whenever that is. I'm going to pull up a couple other things here too. Let me see if I can do a log scale chart here. The GAN line is pretty close to 0.86. It's trying to break about 0.86 here. If you're able to convincingly break about 0.86 here, then all-time high stuff could happen. It's just going sideways, guys. It's just waiting for its thing. Doge, what is Doge doing on the monthly? Doge try to penetrate the monthly Ichimoku cloud was unsuccessful last month, so it's going sideways. Even if it goes sideways for another month or two, I mean, it's going to enter the Ichimoku cloud here one way or another. You can either push up like that, or you can just go sideways and you get inside the cloud. But I think that overall, this is still a bullish structure, even though you may not feel like it. It is still a bullish structure because this is still a cup and this is still a handle. And if I do the FIP levels here, is simply trying to get back through about the 0.5. Still not able to do it. That's okay. Building up some energy. That's okay. It is still bullish structure because it's forming higher highs and higher lows. And the key thing here is that it's still holding the 20-month moving average on the way up. If I don't use the Bollinger Band, if I just pull the 20-month moving average here, let me get rid of all the other ones over here. What you're going to see here is this: in a bull market, it rides 20 up. Right here, it just kept on riding it up. Here, once it break about the 20, this is when this crazy bullishness happened. Didn't bother touching the 20 here for a very long time, so it decided to come back down, got too tired, got back underneath of it, used it as resistance here until it broke out again. And it looks like we're able to use that as support. It looks like we want to ride up higher with it. So nothing really that I'm that concerned about with Doge. I think that anything that's closer to the 20-month moving average is a good area to add. So that's what I've been doing, just been adding to it. All right, let's talk about China, since you asked about whether or not I'm still bullish on China. The answer to whether or not I'm bullish on China is not whether or not I'm bullish on China, is whether or not the Chinese market is bullish on its own, because I don't will it. It is doing whatever is necessary to do. And the answer that I think is it's still bullish. Why do I think it's still bullish? Because if I take out all this crap over here, this is an Adam and Eve double bottom with a back test. And it's holding that area. And over the last year and a half, it's been forming higher highs and higher lows. So this is a bullish chart. Why can't you just go to the moon? Well, this is the HangSengIndex, and the HangSengIndex is telling you that you need to go through 0.618 first, and 0.618 says, so far thou shall not pass. And not until you pass the 0.618, that's when you get up to the next level. And if you get to 0.786, we'll see how it reacts there. That's going to be a major boss. 0.61 is also a very big boss, but 0.786 is a major boss. If you're able to break the 0.786, possibly all-time highs. If you're not, possibly the cycle top. Pretty important area here. I drew this really since, like, I think September of 2024. I thought it was going to hit this target over here, maybe around this time, because that's a 0.76 together with this diagonal bear market trend line over here. So I think that China is going to hit this area over here, and how it reacts there, I do not know. We have to see, right? It broke above the monthly Ichimoku cloud, right? Resistance here. Let me get rid of that. Resistance here broke above and back tested the cloud, right? It just needs to get above that 0.618 for you to go higher. You know how I also know it's bullish? Because Bollinger Band's expanding here on the monthly. It's last time you just weren't able to push through because the Bollinger Band's not expanded enough. I think it's going to end up expanding. I think you're going to end up hitting your target up here above. So just a matter of time. And if you're talking about BABA, what do I have to say about Alibaba? Alibaba is bullish. I don't need to talk too much about it. It's stuck between the 0.5 and 0.382 log fibs here. It had also a Adam and Eve double bottom with a breakout and a back test. This is a classic broke back, and it's holding the broke back just fine. So it's going to climb the mountain next. The only issue is that the mountain is big and the mountain is torturous, and the mountain is called the Ichimoku cloud. We've been trying to break about the Ichimoku cloud here for about 4 months. Still not able to do it. We'll see whether or not the next month is the charm, but we need to break inside the Ichimoku cloud before having any further bullish continuation. Do I think it's going to happen? I think it's going to happen because I just don't think this downtrend has much volume compared to this big giant green candle over here. I think it's just a matter of time before it really truly breaks inside the Ichimoku cloud. Once it breaks inside the Ichimoku cloud, the target is going to be 0.618, $166. Top of the Ichimoku cloud over here is just going to be 188. If you're able to break out above all that, then you get to 0.786, around $221. But before you do that, we have to break inside the cloud. I think we've been spending 4 months to trying to do that. I think we're getting close. Miners. Somebody's asking about miners. How is CleanSpark going? I just did a video with Luca. He is a very, very how do you say that? He's a very let's say just say he's not as sloppy as I am. I don't think he comes on just do a live stream and just try to wing it like Matsby like me. Like we don't like he doesn't do that. He presents himself in a very, very nice fashion. So the video is not going to be out for another couple of days. I guess is what I'm trying to say. With that said, I'm going to share with you some of my thoughts. I think it's pretty clear to me that the sentiment is just absolute dog crap. And that's like an understatement, even though the chart actually is starting to look better. I think that, and I've shown this over and over again. I mean, basically, you have a bullish divergence here on RSI. I think this is a pretty good sign that it has bottomed whenever you have like, bullish divergence like that. When was the last time you had bullish divergence like that on the weekly? Well, let's take a look. Last time you had bullish divergence was maybe around here, right? Where price went down, RSI just kind of gone up. When was the last time you have bearish divergence? Right here, where price went up and RSI just came down. What happened after that? Sadness, right? Where right now we have a lot of bullish divergence building. So yeah, it's not that bad looking of a chart. Right now it looks like it wants to gravitate back up to 0.618 over here. Right now it's still underneath the Ichimoku cloud, but guess what? We're trying to reclaim the 20-week moving average here, which is also coincidentally a part of the bull support band. And I think we're doing a pretty good job of doing that. But do I think that it's just going to go to the moon? Not yet. Eventually, maybe it needs to break above the Bollinger Band is contracting. I think it's probably going to end up needing more time and more volatility here before we're able to really truly break above. And also, we are still working on the Ichimoku cloud. You see how the Ichimoku cloud has been naughty. It's been extremely naughty because it's been rejecting price for about a year and a half. We finally break inside the cloud here once more time just by going sideways. But with that, we still need to break above a lot of different levels, right? 0.618, 0.707, and 0.786, right? All these levels are important to break above. The final boss is going to be 0.786. You know why I know that? Because that's also coincidentally the top of the Ichimoku cloud. I think once it breaks through the 0.786, then good things happen. Before that, maybe cycle top. We'll see how it reacts, right? Do I think it's a cycle top? Probably not. Do I think that it's ridiculous that Bitcoin is making all-time highs and CleanSpark is still very, very sad down here? Not really. I think it's more correlated with IWM. IWM has been sucking. So that's really my thought here. Actually, I'm still extremely bullish on CleanSpark. I'm delusional. Don't listen to me. This is Mara. Since I talk about CleanSpark, I might as well talk about Mara just for completeness sake here. I do think that there's a good possibility this is wave 1, this is wave 2, and we're getting ready for king off wave 3 here. If I'm right, then I'm going to make a lot of money. If I'm wrong, then I just, suffer through a big part of my portfolio. But, Palantir is holding up, so I'm just not going to complain too much about it. Try and break about the 0.5 here, which is fine. It's still underneath resistance. Guess what? Just like CleanSpark, if it breaks above the 0.786, what happens? Moon time, right? If it doesn't break above the 0.786, cycle top, $41.28. I bet a lot of you are going to start taking profits around 20s, 30s, and 40s. I'm not even going to talk about these higher targets up here because I think it's pointless. Until the 0.786 breaks, that's it, right? But if I'm correct about this being wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, then wave 3 should be a little sharper one. So we'll see how it goes. I am still owning Mara, even though a lot of folks are feeling pretty sad about it. But sometimes you have to still give it some time to see your thesis play out. Not financial advice. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. Claiming the 20-week moving average, just like CleanSpark. All these stocks look very similar. We'll see whether or not it holds. We'll see whether or not, coincidentally, that's also part of the support band. Looks like it's right there, but we also need to get above the 0.5. See what happens after that. I could go through the rest of the miners, but I think they're just a little bit more redundant here. Some of them are looking more bullish than others. I can even zoom out here. Which ones are the most bullish miners right now? The best way for me to answer that question, looking at the Bollinger Band on the monthly. It's not Mara because it's underneath the 20-month moving average. It's not CleanSpark because it's underneath the 20-month moving average. It's not Cypher because it's underneath the 20-month moving average. Cypher is actually handling a lot of resistance here because that's also handling the volume weighted average price resistance here from cycle high and cycle bottom. It's all right there, 20-month moving average. Ton of resistance. So once you break back above, that's when you really go to the moon, right? We're underneath resistance here. So that's sadness. You know what else is sadness? Bitfarms. It's not even trying to challenge the 20-month moving average. But guess what are some of the ones that, well, actually, Riot is also trying to challenge the 20-month moving average, but still getting rejected here. But and I think BTBT is doing the same thing. It's not even really getting to the 20-month moving average here. But guess what are though? Iron is above the 20-month moving average. The Morningstar is pushing price up higher. Iron looks good. What else look good? Wolf looks good. Wolf is trying to break above the 20-month moving average on the back of this Morningstar that I was talking about the other day. What else looks good? HUT 8 looks good. What is HUT 8 doing? It's got a Morningstar here trying to, it already broke through the 20-month moving average, trying to break above the 0.5 log fib here. What else looks good? BitDare looks good. It's above the 20-month moving average, right? So all of these are looking pretty decent here for the most part, but the ones that are actually lagging are Mara and CleanSpark, then so be it. I think eventually they're all probably going to end up catching up, but those are more bullish miners that I'm seeing here. And with that said, it's time to sing some Britney Spears, Liv. No, not really. Do I still hold GME? Yes, I haven't sold any GME. What do I think about GME? I think GME, nothing has really changed. If you look at the higher time frame, it's still holding the 20-month moving average. It's still turned it from resistance here to support. It's still stuck in a range. It's still getting all the retail here extremely frustrated because you're expecting something like this, but no, it's building a base over here. And that's not what you want to hear because you want to just see it moon. But that is what it is. Initially, I thought that it was going to hold. Some of the supports up here on the monthly Ichimoku Tenkan, on the weekly Ichimoku cloud. Nope, decided that it doesn't care about the Ichimoku cloud here at all. But there's a guy on X here who I think he probably learned how to do the Gann square from me. If you want to see how the Gann square is done, I'm going to do it here real quick. Pick a pivot. It's going to be this low all the way down here in March of 2020. And the numbers that he had used that had worked out very well was 720, 720. 720. Come on. My mouse is not working. There you go. And the number that he used, I believe he used 10. And if you do pull out over here, no pun intended, man, I don't want to get myself in trouble here by saying all these sexual puns. But anyway, pretty decent market symmetry here, right? I mean, like basically this whole arc has been respected, bounce over 45-degree angle. I just wish that it was showing, touching more lines up here above, but it's not. But it's okay. Basically hugging this horizontal line here and then back test a 45-degree angle here once more. It's been holding this 45-degree here pristinely so far. Doesn't mean that this is it. Well, yeah, maybe. Let's see how nice the 45-degree angle here is being touched. Not exactly, but close enough, right? So to me, I think that this is probably, if not the bottom, is close to the bottom. The other thing too is to look at the Bollinger Band. Usually, whenever it ends up breaking down underneath the 20 moving average here, it goes down to the outer side, right? Let's say it breaks above, it goes up, breaks down, it goes down. I happen to think that we're like way overextended to the downside, and these are usually pretty decent risk-reward ratio if you end up buying outside the Bollinger Band, because it's not even touching Bollinger Band here. Last time just snapped right back to the mean, right? And the time before it just snapped right back to the mean and went to the other side. So I thought like over here is probably pretty decent risk reward ratio, but who knows? We'll see how it works out. If anything, I think he's got a big giant gap down, so big gap here to be filled. It is trying to break down, but it's not able to. So if we spend another few days here not able to break down, you got an island here. Next thing you know, usually these things end up gapping up and going back up above. I bought a little bit of GME a couple days ago. I think it was like pre-market. I think I bought a little bit high, probably around like 20, 23, 24, somewhere around there. I'm not really wanting to buy anymore. I'm just going to let it be. I'm happy where it is right now because I want to buy other things, but that's a different story for a different time. Do I have anything else to talk about here? Anybody else want me to talk about anything? No? If you were to price gap day trading a stock, which one would you do? I won't do it. I won't do any of that. I think the one that's going to give you the most volatility is Tesla, and the one that is the hardest to chart is Tesla. So I'm not going to day scalp Tesla. I think anybody who wants to do that are asking to be in a world of pain. So I'm just gonna stay the heck away from that. SBET, this is a very decent Ethereum play here. Big giant volume candle came all the way back down here. Initially, it was holding kind of like a very weakly holding a 20-day moving average, but that's just ended up breaking down. It's probably going to close the gap. It might as well be. The gap is all the way down here around $7. It's probably going to go back to $7. Initially, I was thinking, yeah, maybe it could hold the 20-week moving average here at around $10 here, but it ended up closing underneath of that, so it's probably going to come back and close the gap, as it should, because whenever you have something that goes up a lot, if you end up chasing something like that, you're doing it wrong. So yeah, do I think that this whole thing here has changed the trajectory here on a higher time frame? It depends. It depends. What I mean by it depends, well, this is the monthly chart. If it can hold this month, and the month's still got another 2 weeks to go, if it can hold about the 20-month moving average, then I think you might have some bullishness here moving forward. Then you could have bucked this bear trend here that's been going for like 3 years. If it broke down underneath of that, then it's a little bit dicey, right? I want to see that level hold. If it holds, great. If not, not good. Also got rejected here at the tank in the kitchen, right? So a lot more things that need to be worked on here. I think whenever you have this big giant vicious downtrend here, it's not just gonna reverse all of a sudden. You might need some additional work before I'm actually able to confirm that this is bullish, but it certainly looks like it could be. Man, you guys are just asking for. I'm gonna do a couple of chart reviews here. I have mentioned before that I thought that EOS was hitting resistance here, and I thought that the resistance was going to be pretty strong because it's not just the immature cloud resistance, also the 0.618, which is also a very strong resistance level. And right now, we end up breaking down underneath the Tenkan, underneath the 0.5, but it's holding the kitchen here just fine. So to me, I feel that as long as the kitchen over here, the red line over here of $4 can hold, then you have some more time to really get back up to 0.618. Do I think it's going to do that right away? No. Do I think this is a good, decent risk reward area right here to buy? Probably so. It's still got a pretty decent bull in Japan morphology here on the monthly. It looks like it's still kind of expanding up slowly, and the 20-month moving average is still underneath right here. So I think this is a pretty decent stock still. If it breaks down, where does it go? 0.382. But I think $4 could hold, and it could be a decent area to accumulate. Understand that it could always go lower, right? Because the 20-month moving average is right here. It hasn't been back tested for months. Do I think it has to back test? No, not necessarily. But you got a lot of resistance up here about 0.5, 0.618. If you're not able to break through and reclaim some of these resistance level here as support, there's a potential for a breakdown, and the next level is going to be $2.77. But this looks like a much better area to accumulate than up here. If you were to buy all the way up here around like $7, you were doing it wrong. RXRX is one of those that I don't really have like a good level per se. All I can really base on RXRX is I think that there is a high volume spring here. I think this is doing like a Wyckoff kind of thing. And because of all these volume bars over here, I think this is a spring that's necessary for you to spring on the way up. I think this whole thing right here is a huge accumulation zone. And I've been buying like, all around here. So yeah, currently I think I'm down maybe like 20 some percent, but I just still think that this is maybe a better longer term play. So I'm gonna keep accumulating small position. If it doesn't work out for me, that doesn't work out for me. Everything else is not bullish. It's even hitting the negative sloping 20-week moving average, right? It's going to have a hard time breaking above. It probably needs to spend more time here, which means I probably have more time to accumulate. There's no rush with this. You just buy a little bit, well, not financial advice for you. I just buy a little bit every week. I'm just going to kind of let it do its thing. There's no rush to do any of that. CRCL, I cannot chart this. There's nothing to chart. This thing has got like 6 daily candle. Sorry, guys. Next Archer, Big Cafe Woodstock. What do I think about this? I think that this is probably a bullish stock. I think that is having a hard time to break above the 0.786 up here, and that's going to be the final pause. Once it breaks that, I think it's going to make some all-time high here. Monthly Bollinger is expanding. Lots of wicks up here, though. So don't be surprised if it ends up not being able to break above and come back down to the 0.618 or back down to the 20-month moving average here again. But looks like we probably eventually is going to push through and go higher because that's the trend. Higher high, higher low. It could form another higher low, right? You already did that, so it doesn't have to, but it could still. It's a little bit closer to resistance here. I don't really want to buy. The time to buy was really down here, around 0.5, and the rising 20-month moving average. Here, if you buy, it's probably going to be fine if you're patient enough. But if you're not, you could end up, getting angry if it ends up coming back down here and breaking down briefly. But overall, it's still a bull trend, right? It could come back down to the technical cushion down here. Still is possible, but overall, this is a bull trend. All these indicators are telling you the same. When it breaks above 0.786, $11, all-time high. All right. UNH, man, I haven't looked at this for a while. What we got here? Ugly. This is a good buy. Let's pull up the Ichimoku. On the monthly, it broke underneath. On the 2-month, it looks like it's holding, but you got a little bit of Tang in the Kitchen bearish crossover here, right? So that might mean that you might need more time to work out before really just going back up. Do I want to catch a falling knife like this on a monthly chart? The answer is no, I do not want to catch a falling knife like this because I have a few criteria to look at. First of all, I generally like to look for any kind of bullish divergence. There's no bullish divergence here on the monthly. I don't think there's any like the 2-week or weekly yet either. The other thing I look at to see whether I want to catch this a falling knife is at least want to see it bounce off the low Bollinger Band twice. It's way underneath the monthly Bollinger Band. This actually looks enticing as a trade because I think eventually it's going to end up retracing back to the mean, and it's way down underneath, and it's not really sustainable. But the low Bollinger Band is also going down very, very rapidly. So it could just kind of go up here a little bit, wait for Bollinger Band, and then go down together with it. I'm not seeing enough for me to really want to buy into it. The third thing I generally look for when I catch a falling knife is to look for 2 capitulation volume to really try to flush out anybody, exhaust all the sellers. So far, I only see 1 capitulation event. Does it mean that it's not bottom? I don't know. I mean, it could very well bottom, but I don't want to catch a falling knife because of risk assessment reasons. I'm not here to guess. I've done guessing before in the past. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to end up following the trend. Hanging out with Matsby and hanging out with Danny has changed my thinking. Galaxy Digital, GLXY, what is it doing? Trying to break about the 0.786. Why is it not breaking about the 0.786? Because it's waiting for me to continue to build my position. I've just started a position a few weeks ago, and I'm waiting to buy. I'm still hoping to get a bigger and bigger position. So I'm hoping it keeps on getting rejected at 0.786 for as long as possible. which is also confluent with the Ichimoku cloud here, right? Eventually, it's going to break because it's about the Tenkan Kitchen. Already backtest all these stuff down here, low 0.5, 0.618. The Tenkan Kitchen, bottom of the cloud. Looks like we're getting ready to push through. I hope it doesn't, because I selfishly want to accumulate more so that I'll be happier. ADA, I've got a weekly chart here. I'm going to turn off everything else here. I'm just going to show you my GAN. Pretty beautiful market symmetry here, right? Holding 45-degree over here. Try and break through the arc here, not able to. Went to the bottom of the arc here, holding, just stuck in the middle of the arc here. I think it's probably going to end up going up together with the cryptocurrency market cycle. Whenever it gets ready to break above, it's going to have some resistance here about $1.60. $1.60. Once it breaks above that bottom of the arc right here, maybe anywhere from like $5 to $8. That's still my target. Higher high, higher low. No reason to think that it's not going to hit double negative. That's how I row. Sorry, not sorry. It's let's see here. On the monthly here, still holding a 20-month moving average. And it still looks like a bullish stock here. So not stock, bullish chart here as far as I'm concerned. Rocket Lab. You look at Rocket Lab, what you got here? Rocket Lab is still a bullish chart. The only issue here with Rocket Lab is that it had to cool down this big giant move all the way up here. And when you cool down that, it doesn't just cool down in like a month or two. It can take half a year to a year whenever you have something crazy like that. I don't think it's respecting the 1.272 here very well. So I'm going to lower it down to 1.2, not to 1.226, 1.236. And it's holding that very, very beautifully. So it's trying to push above a resistance level here. Twice now, not able to do that, but this very well could be what we generally refer to as like a cup and handle continuation pattern. So probably need to have another, like, a little bit lower. How low does it get? I don't know. Maybe this is it. Maybe just go sideways over here and then it goes up from here. But I do see this being a more and more of a bullish look over here, rather than people worry about, oh, this is a double top like that. I never subscribe to the notion of double top when things are trying to break above all-time high, because it's always a double top until they break into all-time highs, right? And it's also waiting for a Bollinger Band to expand here. Last time we didn't break through because the Bollinger Band is too far down, you're too far up above, right? Here, finally, we're getting to the point where Bollinger Band is kind of touching 1.236 here. I think we got some chance maybe over the next few months to break above. Once you do, some of the hard targets are up above. How far does this go? I don't know. I just don't like the fact that it went up a lot already. A lot of gains already been made, so a lot of folks are probably going to see how far it goes. If it doesn't go up that high, they might end up taking profits. So that's not a great thing, right? But the Tenkan Kitchen here is starting to separate here from Katana here. Very nicely separation. Once the Tenkan, once the blue line gets closer up above, then price could use that to ride up higher. A lot of times when things are just a little bit too far away from the blue line, it just doesn't go because it doesn't have enough energy to kind of push up above. Woo! You guys are smashing it. What is smash? Is it a... What is this? Is it a crypto? High, low, high, low, low. I don't really have much to add to this. I want to see some momentum. I want to see some bullish divergence, not just on the weekly time frame. You do have some bullish divergence here on the weekly, but that's not enough for me. I want to see it. You have some on the 2-week too, great, but I want to see it at some on the monthly, and not when the RSI is like 10. I'm gonna stay away from this guy over here. And this is Swash. It's not even Smash. I don't even know what Smash is. Is that a thing? I don't even know. Anyway, all right. Big Bear. What do I think about Big Bear? I think Big Bear is a pretty decent chart here. Let me get rid of some of this stuff here. It's looking a little bit busy. All I'm really seeing is I want to see it break above the zone. It's having a hard time breaking about the zone, having a hard time breaking about the 0.618. I do think that overall this Big Bear here is bullish. And I think that it's simply just need a way for Bollinger Band to expand. Last time it was just way too far, way too fast. I'm like basically telling you the same thing here. 21 moving average going up, back test already. I think it's going to break above and go higher because it's going higher highs and higher lows for about 2 years now. So I think this is a pretty decent chart here, but it might take a little bit more time. That's all I really got to say about that. What is NAGE? Is this Neogen Bioscience? Bullish. I don't have anything else to say. Bullish band expansion. Monthly. Is even in the process of breaking about the monthly Ichimoku cloud. It might get rejected here this month because it's your first time challenging it. And if it gets rejected, it might come back to 12.41. But if it ends up breaking above, then off you go. I mean, this looks like a pretty bullish chart here for me. If you do this high here and that low down here, you can see it broke about the 0.786 over here too, right? Exactly where the cloud is. Beautiful breakout. If it's not a false breakout, we will see. You closed the week above that area too, so it looks like it wants to have some further bullish continuation. If this breakout is real, we haven't closing month like that, then you're talking about hitting some of the higher targets up above, like not all time high, but is it all time high? No, previous cycle high over here might even hit some of the targets up above. If you're able to really close the month about the 0.786 around $12.39, pretty decent here. DG hose, one of those that actually, what is the DGXI? I think that's I don't even, is it even on here anymore? Is it even on this trading view? All right, I'm gonna skip that because I can't find it. MSTR, not much else to say. I did a video for Danny already for his Patreon, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. It's bullish. About the Tengen Kishin, Tengen's rising up. This thing's going to go higher. It's just a matter of time. Everybody's talking about MetaPlanet, so it's MicroStrategy looks good. I don't know what else to say about it. I think the question is more like what's going to outperform? Is it MicroStrategy or the other Bitcoin proxy? I think that's the real question. I don't have much else to say about MicroStrategy. Litecoin, LTC, USD, crypto. Oh man, I did this a while back. I even wrote down my breakdown message here. It's been going sideways and doing a whole lot of nothing. It needs to break about the kitchen, break about the cloud for me to really even be convinced that it's going to do anything in life, because it really just hasn't done anything. Is it going to pull an XRP after going sideways for many years and just have a breakout? I don't know. XRP had a catalyst. I don't know whether or not Litecoin has a catalyst here. If I do 360, let me see if I see anything magical here at all on a can. 360, let's do like 100. And you can see, it's trying to break about the Gann arc over here, but it's just not able to. I wonder if it does an XRP break about Gann arc, would it hit like the level up here above it? It could be like $1,000 Litecoin. I don't know. I just don't know what to do with a chart like this. It's just been going sideways like that. But yeah, those are kind of your level. Break above, horizontal up above would be like kind of like a previous high over here, would be around like $300-400, and that's going to be a resistance level too, right? There's no guarantee it's going to hit the arc up here above. I don't see enough like higher highs and higher lows for me to really be that interested in Litecoin. So, woo! Where are we at? How's Uniswap? I don't know what Uniswap does. Haven't looked at it for a while. It also looks very similar to Litecoin. I don't know what it's going to do. I would like to see at least some like price action here that is not confusing me by going sideways here. Breaking above 20 month, breaking below 20 month, breaking above 20 month, breaking below 20 month. It's just been going sideways here, a little bit trendless. I don't know what to do with this chart here. Ichimoku calls all the way up here above. I'm going to probably stay away from Uniswap for now. Probably going to end up going up together with the rest of the market, though, when altcoins start to run. Thoughts on SOFI? I have lots of thoughts on SOFI. I think SOFI is still a bullish chart, although I don't like all these wicks up here above so far. I don't like these wicks, man. I also don't like this little falling 3 pattern over here. I really like to see it kind of breaking above, although I do like the volume over here. By just looking at this, it doesn't look great. But if you take out the volume, you just pull up the Ichimoku, it looks much better. It is riding a rising Tenkan on the way up, and it looks like it wants to go up higher. The other thing I look at SOFI is I look at the weekly, and this is what I really go by. V-shaped recovery, hitting back a resistance level here from previous support, turn resistance, trying to break above, having a hard time doing it. But if you look at the market symmetry, what we got here, pretty beautiful market symmetry here, using again on the weekly that I've drawn here. And so far we spoke about this arc. I think it's probably going to try to break about the horizontal. maybe even down, up, or just directly up, down, up. I don't know. You got a little bit of hammer top kind of thing over here. So you might go down first and then up, and then maybe push through that level and then go up higher. Assuming that this is where it's going to go. I love this V-shaped recovery. It's just simply need to break about this horizontal resistance zone. And it's trying, and it might need to backtest the arc here again before going up higher. If you're talking about targets, I think that I have this crazy target here of once it break about the 0.76 and the 0.86 and break about the arc up here. Sure, the next arc is going to be around like 30s, but ultimately I think that it's probably going to end up hitting the 1.272 or 1.414, like around 40 to 60, maybe sometime in 2026 or sometime in 2027, assuming that we don't have any like major recession or anything like that. I think these targets up here are going to end up getting hit here when we push for the 0.76 here for good. That's what I think about SOFI. What is the CIRCE? I don't know. Circle Internet Group, I'm guessing that's what you're looking at. There's not really a whole lot to chart here again, so I'm going to move on to URBN. URBN is Urban Outfitters. They're still around. Oh man, higher highs, higher lows, looking very, very nice here on the weekly. On the monthly, looking very, very nice too. Question is, are we overextended? The answer is yes. Look at how far it is from the blue line, and look at how it's trying to break above the upper Bollinger Band here. Yeah, I probably need to cool down here a little bit more, but this is a bullish stock here. There's no doubt about it. I just also don't like these trees at top over here, way overextended about the tank and here. I wouldn't get into where it is at right now. I'll probably leave this thing here alone. Do I have like a cycle top and bottom to do some kind of fit level and see whether or not we're at some important fit level? Probably 1.236 here. I'm not going to draw it. But yeah, it needs to cool down. That's what I think. ASTS. I also did this for Danny's Patreon, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. All I'm going to say is it's bullish. I know, pointless, right? It's bullish. Bounce off the cloud here on the weekly here multiple times. It looks like it wants to run now. If you must ask me what targets I have, I think the majority of the bull run has already been placed in. I just have a hard time seeing it going that much higher, but I do think that 50, 70, maybe even 123, I suppose that's possible. But those are kind of like the higher targets. I don't think this thing's going to go up to like space. I just think that it's already spent a lot of energy to push up here during this 4 months. So it consolidating sideways over for 9 months before going up a little bit higher. It's fine. I just don't see this thing to just keep on going up here. PEPE. All right, I'm going to do this for another 10 minutes. I'm going to go, but I'm going to go in ultra fast speed here. PEPE. What do I think about PEPE? PEPE, I think, is a bull flag over here. I think the bears try to spend about 5 weeks trying to break underneath this big giant green candle over here. I think they're unable to do it. I think they're pathetic, and I think the next move is going to go up. This is going to wait for the 20-week moving average to kind of flatten here a little bit, maybe even touch it before going higher, maybe. But so far, this is one of the more bullish altcoins here to date. So I actually like where PEPE is. I think PEPE is going to go up wherever the whole cryptocurrency market goes up. Loving this one. What I got here is what else do I have here? What a good time. What's a good time to sell MicroStrategy? It depends on when things are exhausted. I'm not going to tell you when to sell for sure. All I'm going to say is that like this is not a time to sell when things are above the Tenkan and above the blue line. I think I get more worried if you have like a big giant wick like this and the price get underneath the Tenkan, get underneath the blue line like it did here. I'd be more worried. That's not what it's looking like right now. So I cannot tell you exactly when to sell, but I think it's going to go up with the cycle. Do I think it's a keep for live? I never think anything is a keep for live besides Mrs. Cat. So what happened? DG Power, I guess they changed their name right off the bat at resistance, right? Tenkan indication resistance underneath the monthly cloud. Need to do its own consolidation maybe it needs to break inside the cloud before I can say that this is a bullish stock. Is trying to reclaim the 20-month moving average. Good. See whether or not you can really truly, instead of just oscillating around the 20, see whether or not you can really truly go up here, expand the bullish band, and have some higher highs, higher lows for God's sakes. It's not doing that. So I can't really be that bullish on this here at this time. And man, you guys are like going off of one another. JD trying to break above the 0.136 here, having a hard time. It's also holding the 20-month moving average though, so it's not a bearish stock. It just needs to cool off. Imagine this big giant downtrend here. You just reversed it. You back testing it. This is a very vicious downtrend. Having this kind of going sideways here to back test is fine. I do think that it's a laggard though. Alibaba and many other Chinese stocks are ahead of this. So if you end up buying this, you're buying at support. So I think the risk is actually very, very low. But I just want to see a little bit more, and simply JD just not giving me that right now. So, did I go through all of your questions? I think I did. I am going to end here, and Vivian has made it towards the very end. I was hoping to sneak in a live stream without you knowing. So, and low gains, man. All the usual suspects are here. BN's here, man. Matt Johnson's here. Y'all, Enrique's here. I mean, I thank you all for your support. It's just been a while since I've done a live stream. I just kind of wanted to take some time to get back in it. I don't think I'm going to be able to do these every weekend anymore just because it's getting a little bit tough. But whenever I can, I try to do it. And I was going to do a video anyway. And I was like, hey, I have time. I so just go live and say hi to you all. I'm gonna leave my lessons up for another week or two. Then I'm gonna take them off. Okay, so please just try to take advantage of them. Let me get offline. I'll turn the lessons back on for y'all for another week or two, and then I'm gonna take them off. All right, let's do that. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good one, guys. Bye.